We're in the losers bracket, Garden of Terror, map number 1, best of 3 series at Banshee Cup number 5, everybody. So, we're close. We're getting closer and closer to the playoffs. Now, since we're going into a match between the Cats and Team Ash, it's gonna be spicy. Team Ash is ready, and they also have the right color this time. Okay, so let's see how this is gonna go. We are obviously in the losers bracket. The team that loses here is out of the qualifier. Again, keep in mind the way that the qualifiers work. It's not like you don't have to win a qualifier. It's you accumulate points as you move from round to round in the qualifiers. Those points get accumulated then later on, after all the qualifiers have been played out, and the top teams make it into the playoffs. And you're not only trying to get into the playoffs, you also are trying to get as high as possible in the ranking, just so that you can play less games, since we're using a stepladder system as the next phase of the tournament here. So it's gonna get spicy. We'll see what the players are going to do here, but yeah, if you also want to take a look at the ranking, we're not updating it for any of the videos. There's a little bit too much editing and too much graphic stuff involved to keep it updated live, but there is actually information on the Discord channel. The link, you can find it below, and you can join Discord if you want, if you're interested in that, and can look it up there. As we're going into the series here, both of these teams are obviously highly motivated to make it into the playoffs to play for the $2,500 of prize money. That is essentially the whole idea here, to fight for that money, all that pizza money that's available. And all of that comes thanks to Psychiv, to Kevin, big Heroes of the Storm fan, somebody that's been supporting the esports scene now for a long time, and absolute legend. Blizzard should actually like make him like some kind of like special hero over here. Like, I don't know, make him a special minion on a map or something like that. That's definitely that's the least he deserves. But well, suppose that's not going to happen anytime soon. Blizzard, you know, they're busy. They're busy developing Heroes 3.0. But yeah, either way, we get Hogger, we got Blaze banned out, and Sylvanas is actually... this is exactly where Sylvanas should be. First pick, it's the Banshee Cup. She gets special powers here, so we have her right away as a first pick, which makes absolute sense for the Cats. Garden of Terror, always a big map. It's actually one of the reasons also why Hogger gets banned. You are normally looking for heroes here that are very good against mercenary camps, since there's so many available on Garden of Terror that if you grab them quickly, you can put a lot of pressure onto the lanes, and the teams are going to be interested to do that. Oftentimes we see Greymane, Jaina being taken here, Sonya is something that you see frequently, and Rhaegar as a support, since you can with the Lightning Shield speed up any kind of mercenary grab that exists in the game. So with that, what do we get? We get Brightwing, we have Joanna, and yeah, well, a bit of global, bit of additional AoE clear there too. And it seems to be that we're looking at a sniper comms, Duke of Varian. I've seen that once or twice. So they need some burst damage. Sylvanas can be nice, can actually be pretty sweet. Kind of wondering if they're adding now a burst mage to it, or if they're just trying to play this out with Sylvanas. But she could technically also try to side lane every now and then a little bit. Dino has been doing this for a long time when he had his Sylvanas phase where he played the hero a lot, that he was trying to also apply pressure on the side lane with her and take some structures down. So they could do something similar. They still need a side laner as well, and since Soaking is playing for the team and he's kind of known for his Chen play, as is Max Passion for example, Chen gets banned out. But I wouldn't put it past Soaking to bust out Samuro, for example, so that could be another one that they're claiming. Always thinking about what else they could pick. If it's a triple frontline, and Samuro definitely becomes an option. But first we have the red team. First we have Team Ash starting to make their moves here. So, yeah, well, with Garden of Terror. I mean, they haven't even added a single damage dealer. Are we going to get some camp clear? Ah, well, they go for Hanzo and we see Imperius. Imperius is starting to appear a little bit more often now as a side laner. He can be quite powerful. First of all, he has damage. That's already neat. And he has his stun. So that's pretty sweet that you have both. You have control tools, but you also have somebody that can actually dish out damage and bring the hurt. With the blue team now coming in our final 2 picks. Again, this is the best of 3 series. The only draft rule that exists in the Banshee Cup is that you cannot play the same hero more than once within a series. Samuro, as called earlier, is taken, and obviously if he gets played, then only with the triple front line. So Thrall is the second hero to be added on the last rotation. We go full smoke on this one. Double green. Go green or go home. And that is the final pick now. Garden of Terror, Lopaka has to lock in some more damage for the team. We could get melee, we could get range, but either way, no matter what they're doing here, they need to add a bit more. There's Sonya. I talked about her earlier. They go for triple frontline too. We are all set and ready for game number 1. Garden of Terror, everybody. The Cats against Team Ash. Game number 1, the Cats on the left with Captain Rex on Stukov. We got Hirath on Thrall, Deviant on Varian, Soaking on Samuro, and the Dark Reader, aka Drek here, is playing Sylvanas. The team on the right side of the map, Team Ash, currently playing this one out with Renella on Brightwing, with Bishops on Imperius. We get Morenas on Hanzo, Maitrai on Johanna, and then on the right side it's Lopaka as the final pick with Sonya. So a lot of melees on both sides, a lot of wave clear that they have. Also when we're talking about the objective itself, and of course even more so when it comes down to the camps here. So for now, in regards to builds, we got the Way of the Blade starting things up. In addition to that, the Overwhelming Affliction. Sonya starts things up with Warpaint as her level 1 talent. And already a bit of bling bling here in the middle with Morenas on good old Hanzo. Which is actually quite interesting to me personally. Morenas with Hanzo is kind of wild because I expected Bishops to try and lock it in later. But since he is currently playing Imperius, that's not going to be an option for them as the game continues. Rotations are already slowly starting to happen, and maybe now the stun, yep, there it is, connects with Varian. He's before level 4, just an oversized minion, and it's been proven once again, so that's a little bit more experience that you get with the minion wave, and that's all that Varian is good for at the start of the game. He turns into a proper hero once that you reach level 4 with him and you get taunt, but that's about it. They're putting Thrall into a corner, and that is kill number 2. Team Ash, Bishops is able to walk away with 100 hit points. And they are starting things off super quickly with a double kill against the Cats. Nicely done, well executed, and a perfect start into the series here in the losers bracket of the Banshee Cup. So in addition to that, we now got also camps being focused on, of course, after the 1 minute mark passes. The first camps are spawning, and they are immediately starting to make their move to get some Siege Giants, get some Bruisers. Blue team is doing the same, and of course they're also trying to recover a bit from that opening. Maybe not quite awake yet. Maybe some of the players are not quite there yet. I already had my coffee. Not sure about them, but I already had a cup. Actually, I had quite a few. I woke up early again, like around 6 AM, and just started editing all the videos from the recent tournaments and dealing with those, and had plenty of coffee in the meantime, but another cup just before the tournament never hurts, and that's exactly what I got. So Varian now has Taunt, that turns him into an actual hero. He still gets lunged upon and stunned out for a second, as Maitrai is now also moving towards the top, and yeah, they are taking parts of the wall down. Normally you would expect Sylvanas to start making some moves like this, but instead it is the red team that is pushing the camp in and takes down the gate plus one of the towers most likely. So red team with all that aggression that we're used to from the Russian-Ukrainian team here. And down at the bottom of the map, we have Renella also sitting tight. Renella is always a little bit of an enigma. He has some games where he just single-handedly wins it for the team. We had, I believe, in qualifier number 3, some maps where they played, and he just murdered everyone in his sights as a support. It was absolutely crazy. So for now, another big team fight coming. There's the taunt. They immediately try to safeguard, but Brightwing is dead, Hanzo is dead, and the Cats are showing their claws as they're jumping into the fight and making their moves. Even a third kill is not out of the question, and they get it. Bye-bye, Sonya. The ragdoll kicked over the wall even. You can keep your trash for yourself. And obviously, that's just perfect. You take a few heroes down just on the gate of your opponent. You have Sylvanas in your team, and you can immediately start to use her in order to break through some towers and the gate. So not only did they come back into this after a bit of a mixed early game, but at the same time, they're now also in a position where they can take easily over in experience. They have the early level 7 talent, and they take the towers down slowly. Thrall at the bottom of the map went into the Trolling Thunder, by the way, so no Trash Lightning this time. It was actually kind of fun to see some Trash Lightning plays yesterday. Sonya with Battle Rage on level 7, and we got the Dragon Hungers on 7 for Hanzo. To be honest, the Dragon isn't the only thing that hungers. I also am kind of peckish right now. Should get myself some food later. But yeah, we'll see. I talked about this. I'm not even quite sure if I talked actually in the videos about it or only off camera. But I'm currently like cutting body fat a little bit, so I'm watching what I'm eating since we have some races coming up soon, and I'm trying to get into proper race weight. So 2 days ago we actually went for ramen, and my weight was consistently trending downwards, and it was like I have a smart scale so that monitors everything, and you could really see like the trend like going down, and it was just beautiful. Then we went to go and eat ramen. And if you are not aware of that, but ramen actually has a lot of sodium, there's a lot of salt in there, so that means that your body is going to retain a lot of water. I woke up the next day, went on the scale, and I gained 1.5 kilos just from the ramen. It was bonkers. And now, thankfully, 2 days later, it's all back to normal again. So all of that is flushed out once more, but it was just insane. I expected gains of like 0.5 kilogram or something, but yeah, it's just crazy. Ramen is... Yeah, if you're trying to like diet or something, stay away from ramen. As good as it tastes, it's not worth it. At least not if you don't have the days to flush it out again. So yeah, 1.5 kilos. I was like, what the hell is happening? And no, I did not go on the candy spree or anything like that on the same day. I was actually, yeah, still quite disciplined there. But it was kind of amusing. So yeah, the dragon hungers and so does Khaldor. Level 10 for the cats. We have them with Sundering, and as usual for soaking it's the Blade Storm. Plus mind control today. Alright, mind control for Sylvanas. So she's trying to get a bit sneaky here. As the team pokes out the second, I was about to say tribute. The second C, totally different mechanic, guys. Totally different mechanic. Absolutely not the same. Here comes the stun. Sundering as a follow-up, and Imperius is in. Poor old Stukov is in the corner. Gets murdered and demoted. That's a triple kill. 3 heroes down right away, just as level 10 is hitting. And yep, that was a very nicely executed combo from the red team, and a well-deserved victory in the team fight, which results, of course, with them pushing the top now. And they're also able to yeah, take maybe even Thrall out. Yep, Thrall is gone. Thrall destroyed, 6 kills to 3. So even a follow-up kill here. That was pretty awesome. 2 seeds now in their favor. Aww. I love these garden gnomes, by the way. They're absolutely amazing. Sometimes I really just don't want to observe the game. I just want to hunt down garden gnomes. I don't even know how many are on this map. Does anybody know how many of these are actually on the map? What's the maximum that you can kick around? We have found one. We found one. So let's keep it at that for now. Talk about finding things. Seems like they just found a kill. They found 2 kills. They found them at the top lane. Sonya and Brightwing are both dead. Not that we really care about them, but I mean... yeah, they are down. That's a bit annoying, honestly, for Team Ash, because this is now the second time that they are taking some nice fights, get some kills, just for the entire thing to be negated a second later. Arrow! Yeah, slows things down a little bit, allows the rotation. I'm not sure if they're winning that fight, though. Well, they're going for Stukov, and he's dead. And also the delivery system. Here we go. Yep. That's Postmates right there. Imperius turns into Uber Eats. He's like, you ordered Varian? Well done. Alright, here we go. I got one for you. Level 13 on both sides. We got 8 kills to 5 right now. And just to also showcase that again, Imperius is currently sitting at 14,000 damage. So highlighting once more that he is actually able to get a really nice damage number out. Heroth at the bottom of the map with Thrall rushing away here using his Wind Fury to get out. And at the top side, Hanzo falls. I mean, at this point it's really quite predictable. Every single time that Team Ash sets up a nice gank and kills some hero, you can really just set your clock for a few heroes to die on the red team side just a moment later. So it's a blow for blow between the two teams when it comes to kills. Team Ash still slightly ahead in that race that they're playing here. There's also the Samuro factor. Bishop's apparently had enough of it and is pushing him back. But there's another seed up. This is the 4th one. The 3rd one still got locked in by the cats, but this is actually a pretty nice position for Team Ash. They have to interrupt first. They get essentially everybody ready for some action. Sundering is still on a cooldown, but we have the arrow ready. And this would be Garden Terrors. So if they can come in and steal this one, Garden Terrors are guaranteed. Stukov already with the lurking arm. They're trying for a kill. Brightwing gets out in the backline. Sylvanas had to retreat. And Varian is not looking too hot either. But Sonya's in trouble. Gets sundered. She dies. So does Varian. Each team down to 4 heroes. But the seed is a little bit exposed. Soaking still close enough to deal with it though. Soaking. Poli is in. Oi, oi, oi. And someone's in trouble. But he is able to get away. The Garden Terrors, though, they will come in. Oh, but Renella, blink heals away. Stukov with some slappy action. Nobody dying, neither on the side of the Cats nor on the side of Team Ash. But it is time for the Garden Terrors. Topside fort will fall 100%. I think at the bottom of the map, if they rotate down there, they might have a chance to take another one apart. But it is not looking too bad for them right now. So yeah, things are looking pretty okay. Get some damage in. Maybe even the fort, if they can get a kill here, that would of course be the dream. They're trying to push the blue team back. 100% successful, but that's still some good damage on the fort itself. Down to nearly 50%. Samura is the only one dealing with the bot lane, but he is defending well, and Lopaka is just a bit too late to the party to really have a massive impact here. Gets at least the minion wave, can take this one out real easily. And the topside Garden Terror not only has it taken out the fort, but it's now also able to seriously damage that wall. The gate is gone, one of the towers falls, the second one will probably going to be destroyed by the minions. And in the meantime, they're collapsing onto the bot lane, hoping to take Soaking down, and there's no way for him to escape. I don't even know why Johanna used her blessed shield in that situation. I don't think that was needed. He was so dead. They could have killed him 3 times over. 16 for both teams now, so the Talons are in, and yep, we are progressing quickly in the game as Team Ash steals one of the camps away. Yeah, on top of that, Thrall hasn't made a move yet. Alpha Wolf is what we oftentimes get against triple melee. That would also make sense. The synergy with the Frost Wolf pack on level 4 is always strong, and there it is. The Talon gets taken. For Imperius, we got the Valorous Pursuit, by the way, and he goes full Uber Eats again. Delivery today, another Varian kill. So they take him down, 11 kills, 2-7, and that's 2 forts destroyed with a third one. Very likely going to be picked up soon. We're going to try and make another move for that. Now, since there's only 4 heroes in play for the blue team, they have a chance to make that move now. But structurally, they've already taken a big lead, of course, and this will help them with the passive experience gain. They're now ahead in XP just overall, and yeah, things are not looking too shabby for them. 41,000 for Hanzo, we got 29,000 for Sylvanas. And in addition to that, still a little bit of poke happening right now. Siege Giants, it's all about the camps. You can actually look at the minimap and you can see that nearly the entire minimap has been painted red by the team on the right. So there's one camp towards the top left, one Siege Giant camp that they weren't able to grab, but outside of that they've been dominating all those camps one after another. So really well done by them, and they're just keeping that up. Since there's only a single seed in the hands of the blue team, that also means that it's going to be pretty tricky for them to get to their own set of Garden Terrors. But I mean, again, at this point, we'll see if they can maybe lock the second one in. It doesn't really seem like it, because they are just letting that one slide. And that allows for the red team to take another one. Soaking. And a blessed shield a second late, and he was already jumping away. That could have been a kill against Samuro, though, so Soaking needs to be really careful. Sometimes it's it's sometimes a little bit weird with Samuro. You think he's safe, and then a second later he just gets caught. What an arrow, by the way. Nicely done. The follow-up stun from Imperius. The seed chains are really strong that they're executing now, but the reaction was also fabulous. The blue team with a good lurking arm pretty much immediately leaning all their CC in, specifically when we're talking about Sundering. Samuro gets away with less than 100 hit points, and Sonya is also the only one that falls in that fight, but big back and forth. The initial start was great. Initially, the red team was off to a fantastic team fight, but then the reaction from Stukov and a few others was just too strong. Sundering came in, Wailing Arrow also a massive tool in these team fights, and the Lurking Arm. Now they're trying to go for the next seed. This would be the second one actually for the blue team. but they also got to be careful. Yeah, mind control. Taunt into mind control. This is one of those moments where you can literally take your hands off the keyboard because you can't play the game anymore. First you get taunted, then you get mind controlled. I mean, it is ridiculous at that point. It's just like, team, help. In the meantime, Soki, some damage. They gotta back off. Guys, you are three. You're three heroes. Like, why are you even here? Renella goes down, and this might be the end of Bishops too. They're losing way too much now. Losing the first two heroes was not really a problem, but now they're just losing heroes all over the place. Bishops is trying to get back out, and he can't. Samuro at least dies at the top, killed by Sonya and by Hanzo. That's the only light at the end of the tunnel, because besides that, the last minute and a half or so were clearly the Cats show, and they've been taking down one hero after another, really coming back into the game and starting to turn things around a bit. Since they have 2 seeds, if they get the next one, we would talk Garden Terrors. Sonya, by the way, real deep at the top lane, escorting that out and then making sure that she gets away, hearthing back to base. But this is going to be the big seed. This is going to be the big one where they have to see what they can now do. If they get the Garden Terrors, that would be fantastic. We got World Breaker, level 20 talent in for both teams. World Breaker's in, but Hanzo ends up on the wrong side in a spot where they can't kill him. Yeah, the stuns are coming, especially against Stukov. They want him, might be able to grab him, and he is dead again. Stukov is gone. Sylvanas rushes away and is able to escape, but I'm not so sure about Varian. He seems to be in trouble here, and since Jojo is able to slow him down too, that's going to be the end of the frontliner. Varian is dead, and this more or less guarantees that we're going to get another seed for Team Ashe. And maybe they're getting... Yeah, has to sunder. Sylvanas, mind control. Ah, Sonya a bit too greedy. Or was she? First we have Sylvanas getting murdered, and then they're going for Thrall. Yeah, they went all out on the chase. They're gonna get Herath eventually. He can run, he can't hide, he is gonna fall. So at the end of the day, it was still worth it for Team Ashe. If it was only Sonya, if she dies, then it's a bit of a different story, but since they were able to take pretty much everybody out, it's absolutely worth it. And now they have a chance to go for the keep at the top side, especially since the minion wave is now coming in. So that's pretty massive. That's actually huge. That's a big win for them here. Stukov is coming back, and I suppose he can at least create some space for them, but it's already too late to do anything about it. The keep will fall 100%, and then they can still back off and get that seed, which they left at the bottom right. So this one is still up for grabs. They let that slide for now. And on the way back, they also are able to take a few of the camps with them. 76,000 damage for Hanzo now in total. We have 50,000 for Sylvana, so a huge discrepancy in the damage output of these two heroes. And I'm coming back to what I said earlier. Look at the damage output of Imperius. He's at 40,000 right now. He's basically drawing even with Thrall at that point. So the two of them really going full bruiser in this game. Good damage output, good CC that they're adding to the equation as well. So exceptionally well done. Varian is the one that probably struggles the most right now. 6 deaths already. Really having some issues here. And while the bot lane is getting pressured and defended, we had Jojo move into the middle. They're hoping to take another fort out over here. And this one is going to get poked into oblivion by Hanzo in a second. So yeah, there it is. With 150,000 siege damage, by the way, Samuro has the top numbers. So he did quite well on that account. 12 kills to 6, and the camps are once again up for grabs. A single keep has now been taken out up at the top, and each team has 2 seeds, which means that the next objective is going to determine who's walking away with the next set of Garden Terrors, and it's spawning in a pretty neutral position up at the top, so everybody can already start getting into a position for exactly that. Yeah, it can get a little bit wild. It's going to be an interesting one, to say the least. I would assume that if we see the red team claim another set of objectives, they are likely going to be the ones to take the game. If the blue team gets it, at least they will be able to get back. Arrow is out, there's the delivery. They want Imperius. Oh, and they barely don't get him. Or do they? They follow up and they get the kill. The fight not over yet, but since Stukov and Thrall are both in trouble, it doesn't look good for the Cats. They lose Thrall. Now Stukov is being chased. It's a triple kill, baby. And they are nearly using Sylvanas in the same situation. So yeah, job well done well played out here. Big fight. First it was Varian that fell, and then when they went for the rest of the team. So absolute carnage in that last battle, and a nice move by Team Ash as they secure themselves the 1-0 lead in this best of 3 series. So exceptionally well done in the losers bracket of qualifier number 5. No chance of defending this, of course, and this is going to be a big win in game number 1 for the red team as Team Ash locks in the W on Garden of Terror. GG. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. Battlefield of Eternity, map number 2. Team Ash is currently in the lead with the 1-0 as we are heading into the second map. Now again, quick reminder, we are in the losers bracket, so if the cats are not able to pull it off here, then it would automatically mean that they're out of the tournament. Team Ash would move on to the next round of the losers bracket and would be one step closer to the grand final, which is of course the goal right now. Since we're heading into battlefields, we are very likely gonna see a bit more aggression and action, which is exactly what we're here for at the end of the day. Try to get some big team fights going. Every time we're going to battlefield, I want to see what the damage dealers are. What are you trying to get in order to get the damage out A against your opponent, B against the immortal? Obligatory Cho'Gall ban against the cats. Oh yeah. So yeah, who comes to mind? Li Ming, Chromie, Vala. I guess as of potential picks, Lunara, Greymane. Also Greymane and Lunara. My personal favorite, I would love to see a bit more Zul'jin, of course. We've seen quite a bit of Zul'jin in the earlier qualifiers, and it's always kind of fun when you see him, you know, gain some momentum and get those stacks together. But if it's really a pick in this series, I doubt it, to tell you the truth. Now, Chen gets banned again. They just don't want to deal with the Panda, and I absolutely love it. By now, also, Genji getting the hammer, so he gets banned out. No light bomb engages therefore either. And that leaves us with the first pick for Team Ash. Which, by the way, means that the cats chose the map. So normally when you're losing a map, you have the choice whether you want to have a map pick or you want to have first pick, first ban. And I would say 98% of the times the team says, we want to have first pick, first ban. But very rarely, and this is one of those cases, the team decides that they want to play a certain map. So that just happened, which means that the team that just won the first one now has the choice of what they want to play here. And they went straight into Blaze. Fantastic offlaner, obviously. Even being played sometimes in a main tank position. Very, 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 very rarely. We've seen it like, I mean, honestly, in total, maybe like not even 10 times. It's not really a good main tank, but in certain situations can be kind of helpful. We get Urel on the side lane and Lucio for Captain Rax. Still curious what our damage outputs are going to be. Because again, keep in mind, you can only play Hero 1. So Hanzo, for example, who would normally be a shoo-in for Battlefield of Eternity, is now unavailable. So if you want to play with, let's say, Vala, then you can add her pretty early. But Li Ming mages in general are also very strong because they have that long-range poke. And they go for Anduin and Diablo. So Diablo plus Blaze. Strong frontline, for sure. And Anduin, so Diablo can actually charge in with a vengeance, bully people into walls, and even if he goes a bit too deep, Anduin can just simply pull him out of the fight. Very hit point heavy frontline. Which kind of reminds me that we also have technically Tychus still up. Tychus has actually seen one game this tournament, which is funny because he completely disappeared. Tychus just dropped off the map, like fully. Every once in a blue moon you get him on Infernal Shrines, but that's about it. So not a hero that sees a lot of action lately. Chromie gets banned. And now the question, what is Team Ash banning out? Very likely also a damage dealer, and yes, they get rid of Greymane. That leaves us with Li Ming, it leaves us with Vala. You could go Jimmy if you wanted to. So when it comes to range damage, there are some limitations now. Makes it more and more likely that Vala is actually going to be played now. And you got Li Ming still. Great for team fights, great for resets, great to try and build a bit of momentum in those fights. Muradin and Li Ming. Okay, so Li Ming is in the house, and now Team Ash has to choose what they want to do in regards to damage. When it comes to mages, we don't have that many mages around anymore that you would typically see on the map. Tracer, okay, for Bishop, so way more thinking about team fights than about the Immortal. Moving in and attempting to take Lucio and Li Ming down, but they need a bit more than that. That can't be all, so they need someone else that dishes out the pain. Could be more melee, I suppose, but range would be my guess. And it is Bambi. Bambi is in the house. It is Lunara. So, with Lunara in, that leaves us with our final pick. They need some damage as well. But yep, I'm going to get Lunara damage against them. It's also going to put more and more pressure onto their support, of course. So another one. Yeah, final pick. What's it going to be? Battlefield of Eternity, map number 2. Again, Team Ash in the lead, so it's match point for the red team. And the boys in blue are responding on the final pick with Vala. There she is, Vala Li Ming for them, as we are heading straight into the second map of the series. The Cats against Team Ash. We are in game number 2, Battlefield of Eternity. On the left in blue, Drakia on Li Ming, Deviant on Muradin. We got Hirath on Vala. We got Soaking on Urel, and Captain Rex is playing Lucio. Over on the right side of the map, Team Ash with Bishops on Tracer, the Nexus Mosquito, bzz, bzz. Mitra and Blaze, Lopaka on Diablo, Renella with Anduin, and Morenas is playing Bambi. Every single time I see Lunara being played and I make the Bambi reference, I have to remind myself that Bambi is actually a boy. Like, honestly, I've been telling this story time and time again, but at first, when I thought about it for the first time, I would have bet money on the fact that Bambi is a girl. And then when somebody made fun of it and said, like, you do know that Bambi is like a boy, right? I was just like, you are just lying. And then I thought about it, and I remembered that at the end of the movie, you see him as like a full-grown stack at some point. So, yeah, but either way. Lunara is already hopping around here. And we'll see what she can do. When it comes to immortal damage, shouldn't really be a problem. I would still... Actually, it's going to be interesting what's happening on level 10. If I'm getting leap or if I'm getting just a poke with Thornwood Vines from a distance. I'm not talking about poke. They're already trying to poke a little bit with Diablo starting to charge in and do his thing. So, yeah, that's the end of Dibbles. He charged in and he went a bit too deep. Not much more to say there. Also providing a nice target for Vala, who's of course going to try and stack her arrow build here. This is what she essentially has to do right now. Stack those arrows, get those done as best as you can, and make then short work of the Immortal later on, particularly after you hit your level 7 talent. That's going to be the big tool in her quiver. Making sure that you get that Monster Hunter, which normally all happens around the second Immortal more so than the first. So for the first one, you can't really access all of that yet. We'll see how well they do. But they have two really nice heroes for Immortal Pressure, way better than what we're seeing from Team Ash. I like the draft quite a lot because we have them with tons of pressure in team fights, but they also have at the same time a very good Immortal race where they can take it down within seconds, especially once that Vala is fully stacked. Now, in addition to that, you of course have Li Ming's poke. There's a 2-3 split that I would say doesn't really work for them yet, if you're having a bit of a look here. So, starting to become a bit tricky. Level 4 talents are now kicking in. Muradin will go for healing static on level 13 now that he made the choice to go into Thunderburn. Which still doesn't make any fucking sense. This is the talent that is supposed to be called Reverberation, because it reverberates. There's a second clap. I'm so mad at this talent. This talent triggers me so many times you have absolutely no idea. It's an absolute pet peeve of mine. They call this one that claps twice Thunderburn, and the one that claps once Reverberation. It's ridiculous. It's like whoever... Once that they made weed legal in California, Blizzard went to shit. Like, too many people that made decisions like this were high as a kite at the time that they made those. 100%. It is the only explanation that makes any sense whatsoever. It's totally crazy. So, yeah. This is how we got shit like weather and the medallion. It's like, you know what we need in the game? Weather! Oh, bro, great idea. That's exactly what happened. What also happened is Diablo dying. But yeah, 2 kills to 0. Alright, so blue team definitely eager to get into game number 3. Ah, they get another one. Easy kill, take down Anduin, Vala, dropping him quickly, and now they can go for the immortal too. So yeah, looks awesome. Lunara, in the meantime, she's just like trying to do her best, hopping around and getting some poison, some acid onto the immortal. But the halftime show, obviously, a pretty convincing victory here for the team in blue. Now, can they lock the entire thing in? That's a different question, but given the fact that they got 3 kills and are super close to level 7, they should be. Murden! Yeah, showing his German ancestry. Very efficient escape. Didn't waste a single hit point from the looks of it, so he made it out of the fight. And while Bishops is just buzzing around the blue team's immortal, we have the cats firing away with Liming, trying to get Vala into a good spot, and now it's just damage mitigation, trying to get the shield as low as they possibly can, not going up against the level 7 talent on the blue team side. So yeah, this is where they're drawing the line apparently. Very good first objective for the cats. This is definitely the stuff that wins on Battlefield of Eternity are made of. It's a bit too early to call it, of course. We don't have level 10 yet, even. So a lot can change after heroic abilities get dropped. But it's still a pretty damn good start for them to kick things off with. And it might even result in them taking a fort here. They take one of the towers down before the immortal is even there. The fight is popping off, and Bishops wants the kill, and Bishops gets the kill. That was an important one, too. Gets saved too, so yeah, they are going to save their fort for sure. So very well done. Very nicely played out by them now. And that's exactly the kind of play that they need to make here. So yeah, this is perfect. Easily able to safeguard the fort at the top. They were also able to save the fort at the bottom of the map, so they did essentially not lose anything just yet. The little attack is also playing out once again as they're starting to make a move for it. But bot side, top side, both forts have taken damage, but both are still standing. That's what I'm saying. Both of them are still standing and are not gonna go down anytime soon. So all good in the hood. Now let's see what else they can do as this continues, because with level 10 getting a little bit closer, I still want to see what happens on the side of the cats. They will have an advantage with the rogue abilities, at least if they're not losing any heroes in the meantime. The cats are still trying to get that fort destroyed at the top, and Soaking is all alone now. With only Blaze rotating over, this might cost them a lot of hit points on the structure. And for Team Ash, it's obviously important to try and close the experience gap as quickly as they can, and then fight back with heroic abilities in level 10, which is not going to be easy. But they get some really good abilities there too. Particularly Lunara should have a much higher impact no matter what ult she goes for. And they will be able, as the game continues, to also leverage Tracer a bit more, I'd assume. But here comes the Immortal. They need level 10 quickly. That gap that we see in favor of the cats is a bit of a concern. Blaze doing the damage, but he also needs to make sure that he gets out before they have heroic abilities, and there they are. Wave of Force, obviously. Everybody just rushing out. Is all about the remaining minion wave at the top that they are trying to get, and the one at the bottom of the map now. Lucio hasn't even made a choice yet, but the blue team should be able to get this even before the Immortal comes in. That's actually really nice timing. I didn't think they would be able to pull that off, but, well, there it is. Level 10 for both teams. They're trying for a couple of wall stuns again. Murden is really low. Light Bomb for Anduin, and we get Thornwood Vines for Lunara, as Lucio has gone for the bubble. I'm actually impressed that this worked so well for Team Ash, that they got level 10 just in the nick of time. Down to the second. It was absolutely perfect. Once again, Light Bomb starting out too. Nice ult from Lucio as well, but it might not be enough to save Murden. The dwarf hops out, and this time he goes down. Well done. So he's eliminated. Vala still trying to fire away, gets stunned once, twice, and gets murdered. And then not stopping with Vala. They were hoping to get URL too, but she was still able to get her ult. But this is again Team Ash. This is the team that always looks for the next aggressive play. And they're doing exactly that. Nicely done. So, with that, we now have top side already soaking. Still attempting to push another minion wave in. I mean, there's nothing else he can do until they have the 5 back on open the map. But now that she gets caught, that's a flip into a jet propulsion. And that is that. Urel goes down, didn't have her ult anymore, was obviously on cooldown. We have 3 kills to 4. And things are looking very, very good for the red team all of a sudden, at least on the objective. The blue team was at least able to get the immortal down to 50%. We've been talking in the draft on how strong their units or their heroes are against the immortal. But it is a pretty dominant position for Team Ash regardless. They are suffering from a lack of direct immortal damage on the other hand. Halftime show is now over. Blue team still slightly in the lead. And yeah, let's see what else they can do. Vala also at 17 stacks now, so she's still... she's not really getting the numbers up all that quickly. But with Monster Hunter, if you leave her alone on the Immortal, she's going to claim it. A few more shots and they keep coming. And the Immortal is now fully attacked, fully getting barraged by Team Ash. And they are going for Muradin again. The stun. Lucio popping the ult once more. Muradin gets the cooldown back. Still in deep trouble. And he dies once again. Bye-bye, Muradin. The dwarf having some big issues in the game now. And with 5 kills to 3, it's undeniable that Team Ash is slowly starting to take control once again. And they're not stopping. There's the barbecue. Captain Rex explodes. Jesus. Holy shit! They really hate him, don't they? I have not seen a ragdoll getting murdered that hard. That's hilarious. Like, check this one out again. Absolutely crazy. They hate Lucio. Boom! And he gets dropped off the platform. They fling him 2 screens off the platform. Jeez. Bye-bye. Get wrecked. Lucio was always a quick one, but maybe was a little bit too fast in that situation. Level 13 talents on both sides. There's the synergy with level 4 for Muradin. He has healing static now. Gloom for Vala to survive a few more things here. And with the shield, they're going straight up for the next, for the first fort. They still have a chance to take the one at the top too. Urel actually faces off against Tracer and Blaze. So maybe they can get even her. But while Urel is trying to hold the topside fort down at the bottom of the map, the rest of the 4-man for the blue team is doing a pretty good job making sure that their fort doesn't fall. It is very low though. And Urel, can they get the stun? Ah, good move by Soaking. That got dangerous. If he gets stunned in that situation, then that's lights out. But the top fort is losing hit points quickly. Down here, beautiful ult from Lucio. Saving Vala. Saving Vala. Urel is dead finally at the top, and yep, Lucio is able to keep Vala alive. Topside fort is gone, and they're both now rotating back down. It seems that they're losing both forts now. So the Cats are having some real trouble at this point. Cats are getting crushed. 3 kills to 8. And yeah, getting back into this is going to be more than a bit tricky for them. I mean, let's see if they can pull something off here, but it's rough. I mean, there's a level lead for the red team now. In addition to that, we also have 35,000 damage now for Lunara, 31,000 for Vala. And since both of the forts have been destroyed, that means that there's also no fountain in range anymore here in the middle. So that doesn't make things any easier for them. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how exactly they're going to play this one out. But yeah, still a little of poke happening from Bishops. There's also camps being taken by the red team. So they're getting that all over the place now. And yeah, just generally speaking, a pretty solid move. Very solid move indeed. Not only did they get both of the camps at the top, but in addition to that, we're also having them now in a situation where they can easily take their own shaman camp. They've already stolen away earlier the one of the opponents. There's pretty much nothing that the blue team can set onto the lanes in order to alleviate some of the damage here. Instead, we're getting another fight, and level 16 kicks in just in the nick of time to make that battle happen. Lunara with more slows against Muradin, and the dwarf is suffering. But as they are all moving away, now it's time to go again for the immortal. And of course, it also means that the red team will still have to defend their own, since if you just go for a race and you allow the Cats to get onto the objective, effective, they're gonna melt it down with Li Ming and particularly Vala. There's another light bomb engaged. The battle's happening. Double camp at the top is now starting to push for the keep. As much as the blue team wants to poke here, they need to deal with that first, and that's what they're doing. So, moving towards the top side, starting to deal with the situation right there. The level 16 talent is one of the biggest things, and damn, jet propulsion not going for the stun. It could have been disastrous, but the halftime show is nearly over now. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Poor Immortal. He needs some mosquito spray or something. That is itching. That is absolutely itching. I'm one of those guys that always gets targeted by mosquitoes first, so I can absolutely emphasize with the Immortal here. Every time that there's somebody around and they're telling me, like, oh yeah, mosquitoes really love me, they really go for me. And who gets bitten? It's always me. It's always me. Every time I hear that line from somebody else, I have high hopes that maybe this time it's not going to be me. But they're like, yo, this is actually kind of nice, nothing is biting me today. And I'm just like sitting there scratching my legs and everything. It's absolutely annoying, so yeah. The Nexus Mosquito still buzzing around. Tracer trying for Urel this time, but the fight is on. And there's level 16 for Vala, so Manticore is a thing all of a sudden. That could be a threat for Diablo, but oh, these ults from Lucio. Looking awesome. Good stuff. 8 kills to 3. And yeah, well, red team hasn't locked the Immortal in just yet, and now the blue team can actually fight back since they have the same talent here. And they are looking for a fight. Ults are slowly coming back up. Look at Lunara just poking them. She's wrecking them. Diablo, as I said, has to be more careful now that Vala has Manticore, but it's nothing compared to Muradin, who is just suffering every single team fight. It is an absolute damage sponge, but since they are unleashing everything on him, he just has such a hard time to survive. So, this is the end of Tracer. At least 1 kill for the blue team, but the Immortal should go over to them too. Oh, Lucio with the heals, as Li Ming for a moment was pretty much dead. The damage over time would have killed her. Well, they're actually like waiting. They're trying to buy some time here. This is actually intentional. This is fully intentional to give Tracer time to get back. So Morenas is going to claim the Immortal eventually, but they're going to try and delay it so that Tracer is back in the game when they're executing the attack. Blue team, they are obviously aware of it, so they are just trying to get their own 5-man back into business. Muradin is back up, and now they're timing it around Tracer. So yeah, nicely done. Down to the bottom of the map, we now have Soaking, hoping to close the experience gap a little bit. Has to, of course, make sure that he doesn't get killed, but the light bomb is kind of wasted. 55-second cooldown that he just burned in order to take him, and they just couldn't. But yeah, next move against the Deviant. Yeah, can they get him here? Nah, but they can try and poke him out a bit. Slow him down with Blaze and then try and allow Lunara to get a few more hits in. So 9 kills to 4. We have 18.5. They're getting closer to 20, and Storm Talons would really help that push, but they're not going to get it just yet. Unless, of course, they're locking a few kills in and get the hero experience for it. Lucio had to use his ult already. Same is true for Urel. So that's a pretty hefty push that they have set up. And since they have still a few minions available, they could poke this even further. They won't get the keep, but any kind of pressure against the blue team is obviously going to help them here. So, once more, Maitrai has to bunker up. The fight not over yet. Keep in mind, Soaking doesn't have an ult anymore, so Urel is now in real trouble. Is trying to jump out here as Tracer is moving in. She needs to stay away from Vala as she's getting dropped low. Muradin also on the run. Another combo from Li Ming as she's trying to get the kill in the reset. But they are poking and poking and poking, and Lunara in particular has now moved over 70,000 damage. So her damage over time is really getting bonkers. And putting enormous pressure on Lucio, of course, too. Who's, by the way, been playing an absolutely fantastic game here. I mean, he got kicked off the map once, but outside of that, Captain Rex has done a stellar job keeping heroes alive. And the ults that he's been throwing out were clutch. Absolutely clutch. Li Ming hasn't died even once yet. Muradin is probably the one that suffers the most here. I mean, again, they're playing Urel Muradin. He is one of the front targets all the time and has been going out of the fights a few times, but he is just a prime target for them. And with all of the CC that they are also bringing and Lunara adding the damage, it's tough for him. It's definitely tough. But yeah, either way, we got now half a level until 20. So we're getting closer and closer to them making another big play with Storm Talons. And since it just happens to kick in when the Immortal is there, this is a disastrous spot for the blue team to be in, because they won't be able to close the gap in time. They have to fake that fight. They can't give the Immortal up. They might be able to let the halftime show go, but anything else, they should at least try to get, well, maybe Vala onto the Immortal to do some damage there. Now, they're interested in fighting before level 20 is here, and if they can succeed with that, that might be nice. But instead, it's Muradin who's in trouble. Another ult from Lucio to save the dwarf. Muradin low and nearly dies here. Barely able to get out. And then Diablo with a big engage and the barbecue. There it is. Nicely done. With that, we all of a sudden have them in a 5 versus 4, 10-4, level 20 on the board, and they are looking great. And let's not forget, there's not a single fort that has been destroyed in this game on the side of Team Ash. They are in the lead in the best of 3 series, and we'll see how much further they can go with this. But yep, there we go. 10 kills to 4, level 20 any second now also for the blue team. But as already mentioned, it's going to be a bit too little too late. Now they've done what they could, but the red team is eager to follow up with additional kills here. So what their goal is to just like get some additional kills and make sure that they are staggering the deaths so that the blue team is always down at least one hero. Vala is going for Acrobat now, 36 stacks, so she's really been starting to ramp up her damage. Tal Rashas for Liming. Vala sitting at 58,000 damage now. Liming is up to 66k, so they're bringing the numbers here. But while they are having to defend their own Immortal, there's also a camp at the top side going for the keep. Again, good ult from Lucio. Can they turn it on Maitri? He doesn't have the bunker anymore, but Anduin still has a charge on his D and is able to pull him back out to safety. But now they are on the Immortal, and this is where Vala really shines. And with Acrobat in particular, damn girl, calm down. She's crushing it. Vala drops it down to 50% within seconds. Awesome stuff. But then again, they lose Muradin once more. They might still win the objective with Vala just having a total freak out here. But they are down one hero. Now they're starting to zone further, and they're chasing also on the right side. Urel gets hammered into the ground and gets killed. But the blue team actually takes the Immortal. Yeah, Vala is stacked. At this point, she's really stacked. She has Acrobat, and that allows her to just chunk it down within seconds. So this is the one caveat that we have to still throw out in favor of the Cats. That they get the objective, they will get the fort at the bottom of the map. And if Vala can keep stacking, again, she's scaling well into the late game. So there's a chance that she is going to do one more work here as the game continues. Obviously always assuming that they're getting to that spot in the first place. I mean, we'll see if they can, but they're definitely going to try to now capitalize on that Immortal. The fort at the bottom of the map is taken out, and they move towards the top to make the same thing happen there. So with 2 forts destroyed, they're essentially drawing even in structures. So the Cats, they still have a shot in this. It looked rough. It looked really rough for them as level 20 kicked in for the red team, and they were getting closer and closer to getting the Immortal. But then they made a bit of a positional boo-boo and lost the Immortal to Vala. Maybe underestimating also a bit how quickly she can turn it into dust at this point in the game. Either way, team fights. The next one could likely decide how this is all going to end up. And when it comes to kills, there's obviously a mad advantage still for the red team. They have been dominated here. They're dominating here. Kamsa up on the map. They're maybe even trying to steal this. Still a chance to throw the game, though. Vala would also love to get a few more stacks together. She's currently sitting at 38. She has accumulated 2 more since we last spoke about her. But maybe they can add some more with the help of Acrobat now. And the more she can poke, the better for her in the long run. And talking about poking, they're starting to poke the hit points of the top keep down, trying to get that structural lead again that they lost a few seconds ago. They're pinned down. It's actually kind of funny when you look at the minimap. The blue team is pinned down. Diablo finds himself on the wrong side of that wall. Thankfully, they're running Anduin, so you can get away with shenanigans like this. And they go for the fight around the camp. And they did all the work, and then the camp gets taken by the cats regardless. There comes the barbecue, zoning Lucio away, and also Li Ming. Good damage. Diablo still able to get out. Lucio with another ult to help them, and the jet propulsion against Muradin. Ooh, he was nearly dead. Makes it out. Light bomb. Can they go for Urel here? She already used the ult. Big camp push at the top as well. So there's a lot happening right now. Top lane is something that needs to be defended, and they're going for that as we speak. But when we're looking over towards the middle, it's the Immortal that's getting heavily attacked by the red team. Vala is trying to draw even with them, but of course the halftime show is a guaranteed victory for the red team, for Team Ash. Vala by now in 40 stacks, comes in with another tumble. 41 adds more damage, single target against Diablo, who has to back out here. And the halftime show has actually not been reached yet. Didn't have a chance for that. Catapults at the top. The team is now falling back, and it's the Vala show once more. I mean, if anything, she is going to struggle at some point with a mana pool. So still the red team moving in with Lunara and getting their due. But there's the next fight. Muradin, again the target. They're trying to burn him down, and his hit points disappear within seconds, and so does the entire dwarf. It was already tricky to see him in the first place, and then he just disappears from the map. 5 versus 4 now. They go for Urel, and they take Soul King down too. He's gonna fall here, or at least he should. Diablo maybe a bit too far out and also in trouble. He had still his stacks, and for some reason they never bothered dropping Soul King. I thought they were following up on it. There's also a camp and a catapult at the bottom of the map, so this is not necessarily over, considering that they can still go for the Immortal, and with Vala they definitely do. Bambi is in. It's a bit of a race. I think this time the red team finally gets it. But it is close. It is really close. Vala nearly won it for the team. Vala got so close winning it for the blue team. She nearly got the Immortal. Damn, girl. That's ridiculous. 400 hit points in a 25-minute game on a Battlefield of Eternity on the Immortal Shield. This is usually the one that ends it all. This thing doesn't only hit like a truck, it picks the truck up and then hits the core with a truck. Uses it as a cudgel. But here I'm not so sure, because that shield is non-existent. You can't even see it. Goes essentially straight into melee mode. That's what's happening with that bad boy. It's still gonna hit hard, but damn. They might survive to fight another day. It's ridiculous. 13 kills to 5 now. 112,000 damage on Lunara. 6-digit club for her and Li Ming, who's at 102k. Oh, they go for Li Ming. They can't take her, but maybe Lucio. Maybe can take Lucio down. He escapes too, and the keep falls. The first keep has fallen. The red team is low, and Team Ash, they want to go for game and glory. They jump in for Soul King, and this time Urel is done for. Urel is gone. Li Ming gets murdered by Tracer, and they're going for Muradin again. This seems like it could be lights out. Team Ash is apparently done with this game. They're coming in swinging, and they're saying, all right, boys, all your bases belong to us. This is it right here, right now. Another engage by Lopaka, and Diablo is just racking them. Nice setup for the damage dealers, and they're taking the kills. Herath with Vala is now at 107,000 damage, really popping the numbers out, has wonderfully scaled into the late game, but now Vala is done, and that is the end of it. 27 minutes in, and it's going to be victory for Team Ash. Vala with 54 stacks, but it was not enough. A 2-0 in favor of Team Ash as they move on to the next round of the loser bracket. Congratulations, and a nice show of strength here from the red team. GG.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.